Hey, what's up everyone, it's me, BaRKy, and I'm here with another mod showcase from Rimworld 1.4. Man, that feels weird to say. And this is the vanilla Helixien Gas Expanded, made by the Vanilla Expanded team, led by Oscar. This one's made by Kikobi, I think I'm saying that correctly. And it was included in the Vanilla Expanded Power mod, and then they sort of separated it into its own mod. I have no doubt that some of you will know it or have used it before just because of the sheer popularity of the Vanilla Expanded mods, but it has gone through a pretty major change, which comes in the way that you actually find it in the world. So beforehand, they used to have these steam geysers, and these geysers, obviously you can put a geothermal generator on them. Now in the old mod, it used to be the same. There used to be Helixien geysers littered throughout the world, and you could put these pumps on them, and they would pump them up. And how the general idea of it was, is that in a lot of ways, Helixien could replace the vanilla power system. It's kind of changed. I don't want to say it's completely different though, but I will tell you why. But that is the gist of the mod. It adds in a new resource into the game called Helixien, which I'm showing you over here. You can pump it up into your base, which I've done, and you can see it. This entire base is powered by a Helixien. It looks a little clean because I've made the stack sizes redonkulous, but and obviously cheated. But the entire base is run on Helixien, and that includes the power. So I've got this gas power generator here. There is no other power going on, and I don't have the unlimited power mod turned on, so everything that you see comes completely from there. And I'll show you the gas pipage. So you can see the reason why is because you can build subterranean gas pipes, so you don't even need to see the gas pipes all the time. It's just a little bit more expensive at double the cost. But I did do it anyway so that you guys could get an idea of what it looks like. And then I've gone ahead and made a very basic system. I've got one here, and one here, and then some valves to let them through. So these go all the way up there. And we've got this current one here. So if we take a look at the research tab, we go to Vanilla Expanded. I only have the one mod on, so it's just the gas extraction for now. It requires smithing to unlock it, although what you do need besides this is that while you can actually start using Helixien once you've done that, you actually need a ground penetrating scanner to unlock it. And this is what separates it from what it was before, basically, because it used to be a mix-up between early and late game. You could sort of start using it whenever. Now though, it's definitely a late game thing. I don't know anyone who builds a ground penetrating scanner first. Usually it's one of the last things people build actually. Once you've built one of these though, it comes down to just digging for them basically, and you might get unlucky. I actually got very unlucky in the beginning, as you can tell. It took me a while to actually get a good source of it, but it does delineate between the two, thankfully. So if you look here, it says steel, jade, uranium, and then Helixien is in a different color. Well, I don't want to say different color actually, I'm not colorblind, but it's like a lighter green, okay? Steel, there we go, Helixien. And we found some, and it's a big node too, which is awesome. So the nodes are gigantic. So anyways, now that you've used your ground penetrating scanner and cheated to find the Helixien, you can come out over here and start building the power of your dreams. Let's go and do that. And then let's build the gas pipe to connect them up. Let's bring it over. And yes, I do have my cat people as usual. I'm taking full advantage of biotech, man. I don't care. Hell yeah. Bring it in, Tony, the female cat person. So once you start building this, they drain at a rate of 300 per day. So I think it's liters per day. It doesn't seem like cubic feet, but it takes 300 per day. And every single tile that you have has 2100. So for every single tile you have, it has 2100. One of the coolest parts about this mod, though, is that when you take a look over here, you can see that it's draining piece by piece, which is awesome. But look what happens when you run out. It just sucks it away, and it gets sucked all the way over here. So if you compare this deposit to this one over here, you can see this is a gigantic deposit. And it's because the Helixien gets sucked in towards the pump, which I just think is so awesome. I mean, that's genuinely just so cool. Bring you over here, because yes, we need power. Once you've done that, now we start to drain. So yeah, it takes 300 an hour. So you can bring quite a bit in. And I'll tell you why, because the general base stuff does not use very much of it at all. And I'll go over everything that Helixien adds in a bit. But if you take a raw amount of power conversion, which you can do with these gas power generators. So if we do some back of the napkin calculation, we take a look at this gas power generator. This takes 600 liters per day. Now the Helixien pump outputs 300 an hour from these tiles. Does one tile at a time, so one pump, 300 an hour, and 300 times 24 is 7,200? Yeah, 7,200. So for one of these pumps, you can have 12 of these gas-powered generators going, which is pretty good. And that obviously leaves you with 12,000 watts of power, which is going into your base. And at that point, you can kind of say goodbye to any other power source. Now, obviously, there is the caveat that if you're just draining the supply that quickly, because it will be using quite a bit if you were to do that, you would need to constantly be checking for more sources of the stuff. But I suppose it's a trade-off. It's quite interesting to me. I found that I got really far with just one of them. And I'm only running out of it right now. As you can see, the last tiles are slowly disappearing. But yeah, your mileage may vary. I mean, this is a very power-intensive base. I have coolers everywhere and a heater in every single room. And they're all on. So, very wasteful. You can power a base pretty effectively on just one of these things. At least a mid to late game base. Which is why I say it's quite a late game thing. The only caveat is that, well, before you had the geysers and they were permanent, these supplies do run out. Thankfully, it only takes power and a power conduit to get it, and a gas pipe. But what you can do is you can get the initial power, so build a wood-fired generator, power it up, and then delete it after you've built a gas-powered generator. So you can have a base completely off of Helixien, as you did beforehand, which I think is pretty cool. So let's take a look at everything that it adds in, shall we? So an easy way just to check everything it adds in is to simply write gas here. Thank you, Rimworld updates. It doesn't have a one-to-one alternative for everything, but there are a lot of mods that have come out in the recent times that let you do pretty much exactly that. Regardless, I've built the entire base to be based on Helixien. So we'll start with the fridge, shall we? So these gas coolers, they use 240 liters per day, and if you open them up, they can bring something down to a lower temperature. It goes below 0 degrees Celsius. You cannot configure it, so in that way, it's worse than the vanilla cooler. But the one thing that you can do, and that is actually quite broken for fridges, is you don't need an exit vent. So you can just put them anywhere and they'll just cool down the room, a bit like quantum cooling. So if we go ahead and do this, you are essentially getting a whole bunch of free installation at essentially no cost. I mean, I say free, but it's essentially free. I don't want to delete 500 meals, so we're just gonna do that, and that'll have to do for now. And then let's add in a new cooler. Why does this look so uneven? It's probably because I didn't put any effort in. It's funny how that works. And then we'll connect you up there. And it will not take much to keep this room cool, even in a heat wave. So then we move on to the bedroom place. I don't really spend much time here. I wanted to make them look nice, but I ended up doing the Dubai Prince thing and just made everything gold. But you get a typical light, and if I go take a look at the rest of the lights, you can see them over here. So you have a gas lamp, a gas wall lamp. These things seem a bit buggy. Can't quite put my finger on it, why they do, but there definitely seems to be something off. Also, it says 0 liters per day when using them. I don't know if it means it's free. The nice thing about them though is that you can put them outside. That is the best thing. Yeah, that's just a win to me. And then we have the floodlight, which is just a much more powerful light. I love this. I think it looks so cool. In fact, the whole aesthetic of the mod, which I will get to later, is awesome. But these ones look really cool, just the floodlights. They look so almost dystopian. I wish that you could change. I wish that this was black though. This little blue line here, like bluey green line. Maybe I'm going colorblind. And then we get to production. So production is the interesting one. You get these gas powered devices. So it's the gas powered crematorium, which I have over here, the gas powered refinery, the gas powered stove, and the gas powered smelter. Now all of these are pretty useful. The nice thing about them is that they turn off when not in use, so your gas is not being wasted when they're not being used. Same thing with the gas cooler, if there's 2 of them. And that's cool because, you know, Helixien is limited, whilst every other power source is not really. So next up we have the pod launchers over here, and they can be powered using Helixien. I think is awesome. You can delineate them because they're green, because anything with Helixien is green. And then obviously in a mode to make sure Helixien can almost replace electricity, you know, basically can, but you get these sun lamps here, which is pretty cool. And that is pretty much it in terms of what content it adds in. I do want to take a moment to just appreciate the look of the mod. I think it looks absolutely stunning. I wish that when you clicked off of these, it didn't tell you how much they had, just for the aesthetic purposes. I also, you know, batteries, they've designed the battery to look a bit like this, so when the battery fills up, you can see it here. With these, I just don't really like that. I prefer like I wish that you could just turn it off actually. But I do want to talk about the gas tanks a little bit. So obviously with Helixien being a limited resource, you don't just get unlimited of it. If you want to empty out a certain area of stuff, you can actually transfer the storage content and it'll get rid of it for you, which I think is so cool. It's very Factorio, like almost like how oil feels in Factorio, which I can appreciate, and I'm sure everyone else can. In terms of balance, I'm terrible at doing these sorts of judgments for the mods. I think this mod is amazing, and I love most of the vanilla expanded stuff. In fact, pretty much everything I've touched in it. So in general, I love it. I don't really worry about balance too much. It is way later game than it used to be, which I know some people don't necessarily agree with. I actually reached out to Oscar just to speak to him about it and to gauge his opinion. And he said that they are looking to change a few things so to make it so you don't need a... Well, not that you don't need one, but the ground penetrating scanner would let you have a patch of Helixien already discovered at the start of the game. I don't know if that actually includes the ground penetrating scanner or not, but one of these would be revealed so that you can get a nice supply of Helixien straight from the get-go. But yeah, aside from that, it's an awesome mod. Go download it, seriously, especially considering that they've detached it from Vanilla Power Expanded. It's just a nice addition. You can actually add this into your game and pay no attention to it, which is, I mean, why wouldn't you? It's really cool. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day, and I will see you all around. Do take care.
Hey, thank you very much for making it to the end of the video. It's really awesome of you. I've got a Discord server that's free for all to join if you'd like to come and have a chat with me or anyone else. And I've also opened up a Patreon page to help fund my videos, so if any of those interest you, please go ahead and take a look at the description. Have a great day, and thank you very much for watching.